Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Shri Radha Murida Gaurchandra Bhagwan ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Agyantimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Mancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. So, welcome everyone to our morning Bhagavatam class. Today is a very, very auspicious day. It is the appearance day of Srila Narottama Das Thakur, and we will be in a very brief time, just around like 35 to 40 minutes. We're going to try to speak something about him, glorify him. It is next to impossible to do that. An entire lifetime is not going to be sufficient to glorify a great Acharya like Narottama Das Thakur, but we shall try our best. So I'll be focusing primarily on one very, very important pastime of Srila Narottama Das Thakur, along with Srinivas Acharya. But before we go into that pastime, I'll just give a very brief highlight about some details about who Narottama Das Thakur is. So please, I seek the blessings of all the assembled devotees here, offline, online, so that this may be really very inspiring, encouraging to us, and we take away something really good, something that will push us on in our spiritual life forward after this class. So, Srila Narottama Das Thakur was a very great Acharya who came in whose lineage we come. He was like the second generation devotees. The first generation devotees were like Rup Sanatan Goswamis, after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so Narottama Das Thakur comes after that. He was born, he appeared, this is today as we're celebrating his appearance day, he appeared in the year 1534 to Krishnananda Datta and Narayani Devi in the village of Kheturi, which is in current day, it's in Bangladesh right now. And his appearance had been predicted by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu many years ago. So there are there's always a debate, about the year of appearance of some of our acharyas, because it happened such a long time ago. Sometimes there were not many proper records, because we only know the greatness of our acharya, when he passes from this world. So not many records are maintained of their appearance here. But it is kind of said that he kind of appeared around in the same year in which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu departed from this world. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was living, he had predicted the appearance of Narottama Das Thakur, and he had deposited all his transcendental love for Krishna in the river Padmavati, which flows close to Kheturi village. So Krishna Datta and Krishna Datta, that is Narottam Das's father, he was the king. He was the ruler of Kheturi village. So obviously Narottam, his birth name was Narottam. So Narottam grew as a prince, and Krishna Datta and Narayani Devi were very, very great Vaishnavas. Uh, they were always hosting devotees at their house, and Kheturi was at such a strategic point that many times a lot of when anyone devotees had to go from Navdweep or any other places to go to Jagannath Puri, they would always pass by through Kheturi village. So there were always sadhus coming, and these sadhus were always taken care, hosted by Krishnananda Datta. That was one of his primary services to the devotees and to Krishna. So Narottam grew up hearing the stories, the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And one of his main primary, what do you call, spiritual hero was Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. Now, Raghunath Das Goswami, as you know, he's a very great renunciate. But Narottam as a child was very largely influenced by Raghunath Das Goswami. And whenever his mother would feed him very opulent prasad or give him very nice clothes, he would tell his mother, Raghunath Das Goswami doesn't eat this kind of opulent food. He just has a very little food, just once every 2-3 days. He doesn't wear such kind of clothes. And his parents were really worried that, our child is supposed to become the future king, but he's giving out a lot of vibes of, of a sannyasi, of a renunciate. And they were, as how any normal parent would be, they were quite worried. And at one point in time, they were thinking of getting him married, but Narottam was clearly not interested in any of these affairs. He didn't want to entangle himself too much in material life. He just his main goal in life was to leave his family just to go to Vrindavan to serve in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. He wanted to meet Raghunath Das Goswami. He wanted to meet Rup Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, fall at their feet and know more about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, knowing that he has departed from this world. So one night he had a dream from none other than Srila Nityananda Prabhu, whose appearance day we celebrated 2 years ago. And Nityananda Prabhu tells him in a dream that go to the river Padmavati, take a bath over there, take a dip over there, and all your desires will be fulfilled. So that's what Narottam does. Narottam goes to the river, he takes a dip. Now, from birth, Narottam has he has a Sham Varna. Sham Varna, he has a darkish complexion. But after he takes a dip in the river Padmavati and when he comes out, his whole hue has become golden because he has literally absorbed within himself all the Gaura Prem, all the Krishna Prem, because that's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had left for him in the river Padmavati. It might seem inconceivable to us, but this is actually what happened. So he comes out in a very golden kind of form. And after that day, all he did was actually chanting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's name, Gauranga, Nityananda, Gauranga, Nityananda. He just wanted to leave home. And once he got a chance, his parents were obviously, there were guards around him the whole time. But once he got a chance and he escaped from his house at Kheturi village, and this is Bangladesh, okay, which is at that time it was part of whole Gauda Desh. It was all part of undivided India. So it is in the eastern part of India. So imagine from the eastern part of India, he's going all the way up to the northern part of India. He wants to go to Vrindavan, knowing that that is the place where Rupa and Sanatan Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami are there. He wants to meet such devotees. So it takes him several months. He travels and travels and travels without stopping anywhere, just doing some madhukari, just, begging for some alms at some villages. And he's a prince, so, he's kind of like a bit pampered. So, by the time he reaches Mathura, he's pretty emaciated. He's a bit thin, but finally, somehow, after months of travel, he reaches Vrindavan. And there, by his very good fortune, he meets Jiva Goswami. And Jiva Goswami tells him, when he asks Jiva Goswami that, Jiva Goswami, he's just heard of Jiva Goswami, but imagine actually meeting an Acharya like Jiva Goswami, who you have heard about your entire lifetime. So it's like a very mundane example I'll give, but, you meet your favorite superstar or, your sportsman or, I don't know, some politician who you follow or whatever, XYZ. But for us, our Acharyas are our superheroes. So he meets Jiva Goswami. And Jiva Goswami tells him that Rupa and Sanatan have unfortunately already departed from this world. But Jiva Goswami at least meets Raghunath Das Goswami. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had come in a vision to Narottam and had told him that you will take initiation from Srila Loknath Goswami. So he asked Jiva Goswami that, can I meet Loknath Goswami? And Jiva Goswami arranges the meeting, and Narottam formally asks for initiation from Loknath Goswami. But Loknath Goswami was not interested in having any disciples because he was just more interested in his bhajan. He was a bhajananandi. So he's like, no, I'm a very fallen person. You're a prince. There are so many great Vaishnavas in Vrindavan Dham itself. Why don't you take initiation from one of them? But through a sheer determination and through offering very menial services, Narottam, he pleases Loknath Goswami with his humility, with his love for his guru. And finally, Loknath Goswami initiates him. And and Narottam Das Thakur then in Vrindavan, he stays in Vrindavan for several years and he learns from Jiva Goswami. And there are two other devotees along with whom he gets along very well. Again, they are Shiksha disciples of Srila Jiva Goswami. And that is Srila Srinivas Acharya and Shyamananda Pandit. So after initiation, Narottam becomes Narottam Das. And after learning from Jiva Goswami all the Bhakti Shastras, grammar, the whole Gaudiya Vaishnav Siddhant, like all this knowledge he acquires from Jiva Goswami, in a very detailed way. And because of his scholarly nature, Jiva Goswami gives him the title of Thakur. So Narottam after initiation becomes Narottam Das, and after learning from Jiva Goswami, he becomes Narottam Das Thakur. That is like a kind of a title you give to someone, at that time it was like an honorific title given by his own guru, his own Shiksha guru, Jiva Goswami. So Shyamananda Pandit, Srinivas Acharya, Narottam Das Thakur are very, very close friends and they serve Jiva Goswami with their heart and soul. And they have several pastimes in Vrindavan Dham. We need a separate class just to discuss on that. But I would not be going into that. After learning all the Bhakti Shastras, Jiva Goswami sends Narottam Das, Srinivas Acharya and Shyamanand Pandit to the eastern part of India. Again, he sends them back to Gaudadesh because the devotees over there, especially Shri Janva Mata is the eternal associate. She is the consort of Nityananda Prabhu. She asks Jiva Goswami, the Shiksha Guru of Narottam Das, that please send your Bhakti Shastras, please send all your divine literature here along with devotees, because after the disappearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it is like the whole of Gaudadesh, the whole of Bengal, Orissa, it has become dry. People are in so much, all the devotees are in so much of separation from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Basically, they cannot even perform their daily activities. They're just crying in separation from Mahaprabhu. So please send some of the devotees. Let them come over here and bring up the preaching mission again in Bengal, which is the appearance place of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which has all gone dry so far. So with a heavy heart, definitely you're leaving Vrindavan Dham, but you're going to another beautiful place, to Bengal, to carry on the preaching mission of Mahaprabhu. So all these three great devotees, they take with them the literature written by Jiva Goswami. They take Chaitanya Charitamrita written by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, and they come to the eastern part of India in Gaudadesh. And several pastimes take place. The books are stolen, the Bhakti Shastras, but somehow Srinivas Acharya is able to get them back. In the meantime, Shyamanand Pandit goes to preach in Orissa, and Narottam Das Thakur, he goes back again to Kheturi village. He goes back to his own village because that is the village where his guru tells him that go back over there and start your preaching activities from there. Because at the end of the day, he knows that he is a prince, although he's a renunciate, but for preaching, you need money. Like acharyas were very practical. They know that for preaching activities, you need money, you need manpower. So he's like, let Kheturi be your base. Over there, you will get help to preach Krishna consciousness everywhere. Before he starts his preaching activities, Shri Narottam Das Thakur, he takes a parikrama of Navdeep Mandal. He goes to all the pastime places of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He visits some of the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who are still living. Take note that it has been almost 50 years since Mahaprabhu's departure. So some of the associates now are very old, they are very aged. And Narottam Das wanted to meet them once before even they would depart from this world. So he meets Vishnu Priya Devi, he meets Narhari Sarkar, he meets many devotees, and finally he comes to Ek Chakra, where he meets the associates. He meets Janva Mata, and he meets some of the other associates of Nityananda Prabhu, and he comes back again to Kheturi village. And now I will be speaking, I would like to concentrate on a very important pastime that takes place at Kheturi village, his own birthplace, or the own birthplace of Narottam Das Thakur. And what happens over there, it's a miracle that happens over there, and it happens only by the grace of all the devotees, especially Narottam Das Thakur. So when after this whole pilgrimage, when Narottam comes back again to Narottam Das Thakur, when he comes back again to Kheturi village, he gets a letter from his guru stating that you should start deity worship in your village, because one of the biggest ways to counteract impersonalism, or even more terrible than that is Mayavad philosophy, is he's like, we should establish deities, because that's a very easy way to personally connect to the Lord. We know that after worshipping a deity, that Lord is a person, he's sentient, he's living. So that was, and then he gives another further instructions to Narottam Das Thakur on how to carry on the preaching mission. So Narottam Das has a very brilliant idea then. He thinks that it's almost been 50 years since the passing away since the departure of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But nobody has actually celebrated in a very grand, big way the festival of his appearance. That is Gaur Purnima. We know Gaur Purnima is a very big festival today. It is soon coming in the month of March. But at that time, there was no such festival. Mahaprabhu is our great Acharya. He's the one, whose philosophy we follow, but it had never been celebrated in a big way. So Narottam Das wanted to inaugurate this Gaur Purnima festival. So he's like, Gaur Purnima is coming in a few months' time. So he's like, why don't I install the deities on the day of Gaur Purnima? And there was another reason he wanted to also establish, he wanted to do a big festival. And that is because during his travels, he understood that a lot of deviant sects, a lot of upper sampradayas, like deviant philosophies and theologies had cropped up, where some people were saying that they are followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but the philosophy was completely opposite to what he was saying. People, they had started establishing a lot of upper sampradayas like Gauranga Nagari. Gauranga Nagari is where you treat Chaitanya Mahaprabhu like as a flute playing, like as if he's playing flute, like how Krishna is. This is not what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted. He wanted to be known only as a devotee of Krishna. Only a very few inner circle of his associates knew who he actually was. But it was only after his departure that his associates started widely proclaiming that, yes, he was none other than Krishna himself, who came to give the Yuga Dharma, to give Krishna Prem to everyone. So such deviant sects had cropped up, and he wanted to harmonize all these sects, get them back to their proper line, that this is the actual Siddhant of our Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy. So with this in mind, he approaches Santosh Datta. Santosh Datta is his cousin who has now become the king. And Santosh Datta is also his disciple now. So his cousin has become his disciple, and he tells his plan that he wants to organize this big festival, and I really need money for this. Santosh Datta, his disciple and a very great devotee in his own rights, he's like, my dear Gurudev, don't worry. Whatever money we need for the festival, I'll arrange for it. Our fathers, Narottam Das Thakur and Santosh Datta's father, they were brothers. They have left us a lot of money, and what better use of money than to use it to spread Krishna consciousness, to arrange a festival for the pleasure of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the money part is solved, but you need someone to even organize a festival. So Narottam Das approaches his very dear friend, Srinivas Acharya, who's very good at organizing festivals, and he has a lot of managerial abilities. And with the help of Srinivas Acharya, they organize the festival by sending, the first thing they do is, they prepare a list of all the devotees who they want to invite. So they invite all the devotees from different villages around Navdweep. Like they call Advaita Acharya's sons who are still living. They call Shiva's Pandit's brothers who also are still living. They call Janva Mata, who's the biggest, she's the main chief guest of honor. They call her whole family, all the devotees of Shamanand, all the disciples of Shamanand Pandit, who was their great friend. Then Narhari Sarkar, all these people, who had passed away, but, their disciples and other devotees were still living. Hriday Chaitanya, who's another great devotee staying at Ambika Kalna. So many devotees, from all over the Bengal area they call, Bengal, Orissa. But Srinivas Acharya is like, no, we should also call devotees from all over India. We should call poets, scholars, we should call great politicians, leaders. Let this be a very grand, big festival so everyone comes to know the glories of our great Lord Chaitanya. So preparations start for this festival. Yeah, Santosh Datta is so excited for this festival, that they build gardens and trees are planted so that by the time the festival comes, they are, grown into big, big trees which can give shade to all the devotees. Guest houses are built, a whole temple is built with a big kirtan hall. Flower gardens have been grown, so that beautiful flowers can be made. Flowers are available and ready for offering to the deities, because on the Gaur Purnima festival day, they're going to install deities. So there should be flowers for them. There are lots of mridangas and kartals that are being made because this is a very big festival. So Kirtan is going to be the highlight of this festival. And yeah, finally, everything is ready. But there was one problem. The deities of Krishna, there were 5 sets of Krishna deities that were made. And these 5 deities of Krishna, Narottam Das was very happy, with these deities. But the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu deity he wanted to install was not proper. Somehow it was just not matching with the description that he had heard, from his own, when he was growing up, he had heard from different sadhus, and he had himself heard from Jiva Goswami and all the living associates of Mahaprabhu when he was staying in Vrindavan. So he is like, no matter how many times this Gauranga Mahaprabhu's deity was made by the sculptors, he was just not happy. So he's very worried that Gaur Purnima is coming in like less than a month and I don't have his deity. What am I going to do? So when he goes to sleep, thinking about this one night, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself comes in a dream and tells him that don't worry, my deity form is already waiting for you in your village itself, in Kheturi village, in the biggest granary. Granary is the grain storehouse. So he's like, go over there and all your desires will be fulfilled. So the moment Narottam Das Thakur gets up, he inquires and he goes to the biggest grain merchant. His name is Vipradas. And he asks him that, please direct me to your biggest grain house over here. And Vipradas is like, my dear Narottam Das Thakur, you're very dear to me. But please, I cannot take you there because that grain house, it is filled with snakes. For years, I have kept it under lock and key. I've even given up all my monetary benefits that I was supposed to get from, by selling the grains. But he's like, no, please don't go there. It's filled, it's infested with venomous serpents and snakes. But Narottam Das Thakur is like, no, just tell me where it is. So Vipradas takes him over there and Narottam Das opens the door and he enters the granary and everyone is in shock. Vipradas. Everyone is in shock. Vipradas, all the associates, Narottam Das who had come with him over there. And they expect, like Narottam Das to start screaming and shouting, please save me from the snakes. But nothing like that happens. Narottam Das says in a loud commanding voice, all the snakes which are there in this room, please move out. Your mission is done. Please leave this room. And all the snakes listen to him. One by one, they start coming out of the room. And all the, Vipradas and all the associates of Narottam who are waiting outside, they are surprised that all the snakes are listening to him. And none of these snakes are biting anyone, by the way. They just leave the granary and go into the forest. And then Narottam Das starts digging in a big casket, of grains. He keeps digging. And finally his hand touches some metal. And he brings out this beautiful deity of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. 5 kg pure golden deity of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's one of the most beautiful deities he's ever seen. And it matches fully the description of how this deity is supposed to look, of how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually looked. And he's now so happy, he takes the deity back, and now they are ready for the festival to start. And Srinivas Acharya also comes from his village called Jajigram. He comes from over there. And all the guests start arriving from Navdweep, Orissa, all the guests, who I had mentioned earlier, Advaita Acharya's sons, Shiva's Pandit's brothers, and Janva Mata, the main chief guest of honor, especially when she comes, everyone is so happy to receive her because she's perhaps the senior most devotee, and they were really wanting her to come. She comes with her son Veerbhadra Acharya, and she's garlanded. The culture over there was so nice at that time. All the guests who had come, they are fatigued, but the best way to receive a guest is to garland them, put sandalwood paste on them, give them a place to rest, give them some nice prasad. So when Janma Mata comes, she sees that all these preparations are done so wonderfully. Everything is ready for the festival. And at that night, there is a big Adivas festival. Adivas is like one day before a big festival, you do like a pre-mini festival, where we welcome all the devotees and we set the mood so that everyone is in the right consciousness when the actual God Purnima festival takes place. So in this Adivas, what is the main thing that happens? It is Kirtan. Please note, dear devotees, that Kirtan is the backbone of our lineage. Whenever Srinivas Acharya, Narottam Das Thakur, Santosh Datta, or anyone would be discussing anything, at the end of the day, after all that discussion, they would always do Kirtan and then they would retire to sleep. Because Kirtan is the one thing that always kept them going. They knew that Harinam is the main thing which will please Mahaprabhu. So the main Kirtan on the Adivas festival was led by Raghunandan Thakur, who is a very great devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And now, this is the first morning. This is a 3-day festival that takes place, okay? I have only 15 minutes and I'm going to really try my best to finish this great pastime. It's impossible to speak about it, but I'm going to try. So on the very first day, all the devotees are assembled in the courtyard. And now this kirtan is led by Narottam Das Thakur. Now, Narottam Das Thakur, he has built up this new style of kirtan known as Garanhati. Garanhati is a style of kirtan which is very, very melodious. What it does is, it starts with singing the praises of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There are many verses and padas, glorifying Mahaprabhu. And in that same beautiful melodious tune, in that same rhythm, it builds up and the verses then start praising Shri Radha Krishna in Vrindavan. So this is how Garanhati style of kirtan is. And it was inaugurated initially by Swarup Damodar, but it was perfected by Narottam Das Thakur. So in the first day, when these deities, everyone is seeing these deities now for the first time, when an Abhishek is happening and deities are being installed, they are seeing these deities and the Abhishek is happening. It's a beautiful, beautiful Abhishek. Kirtan is going on in their background. There are verses glorifying Radha and Krishna. And one by one, like all the devotees come, they do the Abhishek. Then the deities are dressed in nice opulent clothes and bhogas offered to them. And everyone is now waiting for their first darshan. The first darshan after the Abhishek happens, it is really mesmerizing because now all the deities are, like they're fully ready. They've taken a bath, they've been sumptuously fed, and like they're now ready to give their darshan and their full mercy. So imagine the anticipation. And when the kirtan is in the full crescendo, the curtains open, and everyone is like fully mesmerized looking at the deities. Even the kirtanyas, they stop, Kartal is midway, like they stop in midway, like that way. These deities are so beautiful, like they just like stop doing everything and they just gaze at the beauty of the deities in these nice shining jewelry. And, there's literally like an aura coming out of them. So Narottam Das Thakur and Srinivasa Acharya, then they proclaim the names of these devotees, of these deities, because after the installation, like we name the deities. So these deities are, so one is the Gauranga deity. So Gauranga. Then there are 5 Krishna deities whose names are Vallabhi Kanta, Shri Krishna, Vraj Mohan, Radha Raman, and Radha Kanta. Now, all this information is given in Bhakti Ratnakar, which is a very great text written by Narhari Chakravarti. It is, from Narhari Chakravarti's Bhakti Ratnakar and Prem Vilas that we come to know, written by another devotee called Nityananda Das, that we come to know a lot about Narottam Das Thakur, Srinivas Acharya, and Shamanand Pandit. So these deities are finally installed, and literally when the installation takes place, when the curtains open, millions and millions of flowers are being showered, literally from the heavens. Flowers are being showered on these deities. And there's a sweet aroma, that is coming, from these deities. And Srinivas Acharya, he indicates to Narottam Das Thakur that, my dear friend, now start the kirtan. Now look at this, Narottam Das Thakur, he has trained a lot of his disciples in this Garanhati style of kirtan. And what he does is that he comes with all this, he and his whole gang, this whole as disciples, they come, they first worship the mridangas and kartals, knowing that they're a form of Nityananda Prabhu, they're a form of Balram. They worship them, they take the blessings of all the devotees assembled, and especially they take the blessings of Mata Janva. Now, Mata Janva knew that a miracle is going to take place over here. So she particularly gazes with love and devotion on Narottam Das Thakur, and she imbues him with such spiritual potency that Narottam Das Thakur falls flat at his feet and he absorbs all that potency and love, the motherly love that Janva Mata is giving, the devotional love that Janva Mata is giving to him. And he starts the kirtan. And initially the kirtan is slow. It is very slow. He closes his eyes, Narottam Das Thakur, and he's, one of his disciples, Devi Das, he's, playing the mridang slowly, slowly, slowly. But then it builds up. It builds up. And kirtan is going on. He starts with glorifying Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he's playing his kartals. And everyone is remembering. He's speaking about the pastimes, the beauty, the different leelas, all the activities of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and everyone is remembering Mahaprabhu. They are in ecstasy just thinking about him. Everyone starts crying, remembering Mahaprabhu. Janva Mata, Advaita Acharya's sons, because it's been a few years and all these people have had the association of Mahaprabhu and they're missing him so much. They're in deep separation from him. And while this kirtan is going on, even Narottam Das Thakur, he's crying and crying, he's perspiring, and he's building up the tempo little by little, little by little. Literally, it's mentioned in Bhakti Ratnakar that while he's more deeply, he's remembering, his froze, his brows are, furrowed, and, he's playing kartal, with deep emotion. They literally clanging, and, all the sunlight is, like coming, falling on them. It's like a whole big scene happening over there. And little by little, slowly by slowly, from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's glories, he starts moving towards the glories of Shri Radha Krishna and Vrindavan. And all the devotees are crying, "Hey Krishna, hey Radharani, hey Mahaprabhu, hey Nitai, where are you? Where are you?" Everyone is, like deeply immersed in this kirtan of, which is being sung by Narottam Das Thakur. Everyone is missing Radha Krishna so much. They are missing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu so much. Each and every raga, it is mentioned. I'm going to mention something about this, which is directly taken from Bhakti Ratnakar. One song after another poured forth from the depths of his heart, each a condensed verse conveying volumes of transcendental knowledge. Each rag was matched perfectly to the mood of the song, poetically describing Shri Mahaprabhu's activities, poetically describing the glorious activities of Shri Radha Krishna and Vrindavan. The entire audience was moved. There was no one who was unmoved by the kirtan of Narottam Das Thakur. They were literally moving in waves and in waves of ecstasy, especially of separation. And while Narottam Das Thakur was singing, suddenly a very unearthly aroma is emanating from the deities. And Narottam Das Thakur knows that this aroma is coming from the deities. And he knows, it suddenly fills him with so much of separation that he's like, right now they were glorifying Radha and Krishna and Vrindavan, but now he shifts the mood of his kirtan to the mood of separation. Radha Krishna has left Vrindavan. So all the devotees in Vrindavan are crying. He's singing about that. Mahaprabhu has taken sannyas. He has left this world. So there's a separation of the devotees of Navdweep. They are crying in separation from him. This whole mood of separation has become so thick, you cannot handle it. Everyone is crying. Literally, the mood has become so thick. Devotees, all they can do is they just like moving, like it's mentioned in Bhakti Ratnakar, as they are like bathing in honey. They can't move. It's so thick, their emotions. And while this is happening, a very, very, very big miracle happens. People are crying. Devotees are crying. Janva Mata, all the devotees are in such deep emotion. They're calling Lord Chaitanya with such emotion that it is mentioned in a flash of lightning, like a flash of lightning in a mass of rain, dark clouds. Suddenly, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, along with all his associates, they directly come over there. They manifest in front of everyone. Now, mind you, almost, as I mentioned earlier, 50 years had passed. And yet, Mahaprabhu himself appears over there. And all the devotees are stunned. How can this happen? Mahaprabhu has gone away. Who's this over here? Narottama Das Thakur is so, he's actually thinking, no, this is actually a dream. It's a vision. But he stretches his hand, while he's singing. And he actually touches Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he bursts out in tears. He bursts, literally, they say that, tears come out like syringes from his eyes, He had never ever in his wildest dreams imagined Nityananda Prabhu, he sing Nityananda Prabhu dance. Imagine Janva Mata bursts out seeing Nityananda Prabhu, her own beloved husband, who she's been missing with her life and soul. Advaita Acharya's sons are seeing their father after so many years. Shivas Pandit's brothers are seeing him after so many years. Literally, and you can imagine Chaitanya Mahaprabhu there himself. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes there and he holds, Narottama Das Thakur's hands. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lifts his hands and he starts dancing in great, great ecstasy. The kirtan exploded. Kartals are clashing. Mridangas are going like wild, thundering like wild elephants across the desert. Everyone is chanting Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya again and again and again and again while he's dancing with such great gracefulness. And then who comes? Nityananda Prabhu comes. Nityananda Prabhu comes and he grabs hold of Narottama Das Thakur's hands. He lifts him up and he twirls him around. And while twirling around, you can imagine how graceful Nityananda Prabhu is. When he dances, the universe is trembling. It's literally trembling. And it's mentioned that his dhoti is going, blue dhoti going swish, swish, this way and that way while he's dancing. And Advaita Acharya roared. He was roaring like a mad elephant. Because of his roars, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came. Because of his roars, Nityananda Prabhu came. They're roaring and he's going around like a mad lion throughout the whole courtyard. He's inspiring everyone to dance. And Srinivas Acharya is dancing with Gadadhar Pandit, who's none other than the Haladini Shakti himself, herself personified as Gadadhar Pandit. All the devotees they can't imagine. They go in a mad frenzy, they're dancing. Rup Goswami is there, Sanatan Goswami is there, Raghunath Bhatt Goswami is there, Murari Gupta is there, Kashishwar Mishra is there, Kashishwar Pandit is there. It was a transcendental madness that happened over there. Devotees are holding up their hands and they're crying and they're dancing. Some of them are just standing motionless, staring in disbelief that is this really happening? Some are lying on the ground. They are, they're rolling in the dust. They're just chanting Krishna, Krishna, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya again and again. Getting mad with ecstasy. They give away whatever they have, money, their life, literally everything they're surrendering. At that time, all misconceptions, all doubts that anyone would have had about Mahaprabhu, everything is smashed in the purifying effect of Kirtan, in the presence of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Even poets and scholars who are not devotees, they are noting down, they are writing this. Atheists had come there. Why did atheists come to this festival? To joke, to mock all the devotees. They are seeing Mahaprabhu. They are getting purified. They become pure devotees. And this is happening because of this great kirtan led by Narottama Das Thakur. Narottama Das Thakur is not believing this is actually happening. His whole body is trembling so much. His disciples have to hold him. They're literally afraid he will give up his body in this great ecstasy. And, Narottama Das Thakur falls. He's falling unconscious again. He's getting up again. He's falling unconscious, getting up again. This is what's happening with all the devotees. Finally, Mahaprabhu, he comes dancing in his beautiful, glorious form. He embraces Srinivasa Acharya. He embraces Narottama Das Thakur and gives all his love and devotion to him. And just like in a lightning, how they had come, in a blink of an eye, all these associates, they disappear. And a whole wave of dismay emanates from all the devotees over there. No! Mahaprabhu, don't leave us. Don't leave us. Please don't go. Some of them faint. Some of them are staring in disbelief. How can it be? He was just here a second ago. How can he go? They're running all around the courtyard searching for him. Murari Gupta, Gadadhar Pandit, Nityananda Prabhu, Mahaprabhu, where have you gone? Where have you gone? Nitai, Mahaprabhu, Krishna Chaitanya, Krishna Chaitanya. Everyone is like falling unconscious because they know that this is a once in a lifetime thing that has happened to them. This is never going to happen in their lifetime again. It's a transcendental event. It's a miracle. Somehow or the other, Narottama Das Thakur, he gains his consciousness and all the devotees are profusely thanking him. that because of your purifying kirtan, because you led kirtan with such deep emotion, you personally called Mahaprabhu over here. We are so grateful to you. Janva Mata, who's none other than the Ladini Shakti, she herself is thanking Narottam Das Thakur. And because the mood is so thick with separation now, literally this is the pinnacle. Separation and Sambhog, Vipralamba and Sambhog is at its highest peak at this time. You know, this is never going to happen again, but it was at its peak at this time. But to get the mood setting and to get the festival moving, they carry on their further activities. Janva Mata tells, that now let's do an abhishek. Let's play Holi, Holi of colors, that will uplift the mood of all the devotees. They do a grand festival abhishek again of the Gauranga Mahaprabhu deity, because it's the appearance day. In the evening, they do the abhishek of the Gauranga Mahaprabhu deity again. And next day, Janva Mata herself, she cooks a grand feast for all the devotees. Such humility is of all the Gauranga Bhaktas. So, and then finally the festival comes to an end, and everyone takes these memories with them, knowing that this is the only thing that's going to keep them going for the rest of their lives. So we should seek the blessings of Narottam Das Thakur, who performed kirtan with such devotion that it is like he called Mahaprabhu himself to come manifest himself again. So on this day, let's pray to Narottam Das Thakur, and obviously to Srila Prabhupada, because of whose mercy we know about such great acharyas. I'm sorry I did not leave much time, but we can have some talk in our afterglow. So thank you so much once again. Srila Narottam Das Thakur ki jai. Srila Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki, Nityananda Mahaprabhu ki, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai. Okay, yeah, we're going to have darshan now.
Nandini Radhika Mata Ki Jai. Thank you very much. Wonderful class.
Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
I felt like I was in that festival, seeing Srinivasacharya. Darshan time, dear devotees, please turn on your camera. Annabelle, Isaiah, thank you. Nice to see you. Timothy, family, nice to see you. Mathuranath Prabhu, Jai. Amrita Kishore Devadasi, looking cozy. Christ's grace one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. He opens my darkened eyes. O Master, be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread all over the three worlds, including the Zoom world. We take shelter at your precious lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nandini, Radhika, wonderful class. Like I said, I felt like I was in that celebration, taking Prashanam, dancing, seeing Lord Chaitanya in the lightning. That was ecstatic.
Yeah.
I wonder if such festivals are possible these days when everything is virtual. Imagine.
Yeah. I mean, it can still happen in our own ways. We have to follow in the footsteps of Narottama Das Thakur, purify ourselves, let our bhajan be the best, and then Mahaprabhu will appear in our hearts in our own individual way. So, if there are any questions or comments or something, we can take that now.
Mataji, you spoke such wonderful Leela. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So much enthusiasm and emotion. I love the environment was so ecstatic and thick. They were bathing in honey. That's incredible.
It was, yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, this is one of my, it's actually one of my most favorite pastimes. So there are so many pastimes of Narottama Das Thakur. It's as I said, an entire lifetime could go in just glorifying Narottama Das himself. But yeah, I just picked up, and half an hour is not enough to speak about such a big pastime. But yeah, I've tried my best. Thank you so much. Anyone else?
Any questions, dear devotees?
How can we have Lord Chaitanya appear in our life every day like that? Because, right, we have Gaur Pranim, we have Krishna Janmastami, but aren't they supposed to be? It's like they're with us every day, right? Not just once a year. So how can we really believe that Krishna, Gauranga, they're with me every day? How can we access that more? Not one time, one day a year, every day.
Every day. I think the whole life of Narottama Das Thakur is a very good example of that. He had this really burning desire. One of the things about all of Mahaprabhu's deities, or like let's say devotees of Krishna himself, of Lord Krishna, is that their greed, their lolyam was very, very strong. Their lolyam or their greed to serve Krishna, to have his association, to have the association of his devotees, to go back to the spiritual world. So we have to try our best to increase this greed. And again, there are three ways in which this greed can increase, and that is given by our Bhaktivinoda Thakur. One is Nam Ruchi, Vaishnav Seva, and Jeev Daya. So three things are there. You have to have a lot of taste in the holy name. The thing is that these three are kind of connected to each other: Nam Ruchi, Vaishnav Seva, and Jeev Daya. So that is holy name, serving the devotees, and having a taste for the holy name, serving the devotees, and compassion for all living entities. If you just follow these three principles, it will help us increase our greed. Our greed. The more you serve the holy name, the more you want to serve devotees. The more you want to give that pleasure, that happiness, and give that compassion to others. The more you preach, the more you want to serve devotees. Your one's taste in the holy names increases. Once you serve devotees, especially like senior devotees, particularly following the instructions of your own guru, of Srila Prabhupada, of Mahaprabhu, whatever he has set out for us, the Siddhant, for properly following it, then our taste for the holy name increases, and we want to even share that with others. So these three things are our bedrock. Basically, we just follow these three aspects, and we are sure to increase our volume, and we'll feel this ecstasy every day. And we have to obviously, we have to consciously have this desire. If we if we don't have the greed for it, we should initially try to act, act as if we are greedy. If you don't have a taste for hearing, initially act as if you have a taste for it. Acting, it will finally happen. So yeah, this is just what we're supposed to do. And yeah, we have to keep hearing about our acharyas, take inspiration from them. I personally, I especially like, I have a, I especially have a little bit of a soft spot for Narottama Das Thakur, because on his disappearance day, that was the tithi of his disappearance day was the day my spiritual master, he accepted me as his disciple. So I'm very grateful to Narottama Das Thakur. It happened on a very auspicious day. So, and plus Kheturi festival is a very, it's been my personal favorite since many years, even before that. So yeah, once we keep hearing about these great acharyas, reading about their lives, their example, it has personally helped me. I do these classes, some few devotees, where we speak about acharyas, about pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Krishna. And we do this weekly. It's a very small group, but just doing this, just 2-3 devotees, that's all you need. And this is in itself enough, to increase our taste for the holy name. It helps us, remember so many of other pastimes of our acharyas. And before you know it, we are thinking more about that the whole day. So yeah, just follow these three things: Vaishnav Seva, Jeev Daya, and Nam Ruchi. It'll help you. Thank you. I hope this helps you.
Yes,
Yes.
I was thinking one more thing to add to that is updating our internal aspect, our devotion. So the three aspects of our internal devotion is our motivation and inspiration is one, updating our faith, and our anukulya, our favorable thoughts and feelings. So when we come to big festivals, when we come to have even beautiful japa, we have some experience of connection, we update that. Oh, I feel so much more motivated. Oh, my faith has increased. Oh, my anukulya, I'm seeing how Krishna is giving me shelter. And because it's our internal that is fueling the external actions. So we want to have a focus on the internal and constantly updating that. Like we have to update our computers, but we get to update every day if we really see the value of that. And yeah, the lolium is beautiful. It also really correlates with our faith. We have like deep faith that lolium grows. So we want to increase our faith and look for opportunities. Ooh, look at how Krishna showed up.
One of the best ways, personally, I have seen, like whatever you have mentioned, like updating our faith, finding out ways in which, how it is increasing our devotional service. One of the best ways it has is by always discussing, having at least one or two devotees with whom you're very close with, speaking with them on a regular basis. It really helps because, you have so many ideas. Someone like me, like personally, I'm just speaking for myself. I find it difficult to journal. I'm not so much of a person, who will sit and write my thoughts, but I like speaking my thoughts out. So I like speaking it to a devotee friend. Whatever way might work for you. For some people, it is like journaling, writing it down, reflecting on it again after a few days. Or for some people, it might be with sharing. So yeah, that's a very good point that you have mentioned. Sharing with others your thoughts, your realizations, especially with some few close devotees. That's one of the best ways to go deep in our spiritual life because they also give their own insights. If you have any doubts, if we have some days are not so good, they help, they literally carry us forward. So yeah, devotee association helps a lot in this. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you, Mathurnath Prabhu and Nandini Radhika. Before we turn the floor over to Anupam Prabhu, I wanted to quickly share an Akashvani unmanifest voice realization that I just had. How do we update our connection with Narottam Das Thakur? We recite Guru Puja every day, right? We
Yes.
recite those prayers every day. That's what these bhajans are for, to update, like Mathurnath Prabhu said, our internal connection with those wonderful acharyas that invested their spiritual potency in those bhajans. This is how we bathe in the Keturi river every day, bathing in the bhajans by Narottam Das Thakur. I hope, is that bona fide, Nandini Radhika?
Of course, yes, it is. In his entire lifetime, Narottam Das Thakur wrote two literatures. One is Prem Bhakti Chandrika and one is Prarthana. So all the bhajans that we know, that we sing actually regularly, like our Guru Puja and Gianilo Premadhan, which is a song of separation. Gianilo Premadhan was written by Narottam Das Thakur after Srinivasa Acharya and Ramchandra Kaviraj, two very close friends of his two very close friends when they left when they left the earthly realm to go back to the spiritual world. When they passed away, Narottam Das Thakur penned down Gianilo Premadhan. All the bhajans of Narottam Das Thakur are very deep. In fact, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj was once asked by a devotee, that how do we increase our loyalty, how do we increase our love for Krishna? And Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj said, oh, you'll easily get it in just 5 anna. 5 anna means like it's less than 1 rupee at that time. And what does that mean? It means with 5, and like devotees were not able to understand what he was saying. But then Bhakti Siddhant Saraswati Thakur, that is Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj's disciple and Prabhupada's guru, he said he understood the meaning of what his guru said. He's like, in 5 anna in the market, you can go and buy Prem Bhakti Chandrika and Prarthana, the 2 books of Narottam Das Thakur. And just by reading these books, just by reading these bhajans, you will obtain love for Godhead. So this is bona fide. It's very bona fide. So it's mentioned by Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj himself. So yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. It's all glories to Akashvani. We'll tell Akashvani that his realization was helpful.
Yeah. Thank you.
Anupam Prabhu.
Yes, Anupam Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Great class, really nice. I really appreciated the recounting of that kirtan, and like Mathurnath said, the pouring of the honey. So beautiful, so faith-giving, actually, just to hear descriptions like that. Because who could come up with something? It's just so specific and so intrinsically satisfying to hear. So thank you for recounting that so nicely. I wanted to bring up that this question of how to feel Lord Chaitanya's presence in our lives frequently was actually very directly asked and very directly answered twice, as you guys all probably know, in the CC, all within 10 pages of each other. One was Kurma Brahmana, who met Lord Chaitanya and said, I want to go with you. Lord Chaitanya says, no, you should stay. Said, well, how can I always be with you still? And Lord Chaitanya told him to preach. Basically, he said, if you should tell everybody you meet about Krishna, and then you'll never be separated from me. So it's a very direct answer that he gives. It doesn't require any any speculation, you should preach. And that's what Prabhupada emphasized as well. It's what all the acharyas emphasized. And by that preaching, then we get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and we become purified. Our bhakti will become refined. And and then Vasudev Brahmana, the leper, asks Lord Chaitanya the same thing like 10 pages later. How can I stay with you? And Lord Chaitanya says, chant Hare Krishna and teach it to others. Teach other people about Krishna. So it's always stunning to see something so direct, because there it is. If you want to feel Lord Chaitanya's presence, the formula is so simple. It doesn't require mental wrangling or coming up with some new method. It's actually very simple. We have to preach about Lord Chaitanya to others, tell everybody we meet about Krishna, get out of our comfort zone, and then Lord Chaitanya will be pleased with us and he'll purify our bhakti. So in that regard, the monthly Sankirtan festival is happening today at Fulton Street Subway. Shameless plug. So if anybody's inspired and wants to feel Lord Chaitanya's presence today, they could come out to the subway and tell everybody they meet about Krishna. It'll be a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Today is actually a very, very good day to actually do book distribution, because Narottama Das Thakur, Srinivasacharya and Shyamanand Pandit are our original book distributors. They are the ones who started it in all earnestness. Even during the Kheturi festival, one of the main reasons why it was also so successful, apart from the fact that yes, Mahaprabhu and all his associates came there, was because not only were they able to harmonize all the deviant sects and get them back, but all the books of all the acharyas, they had been copied multiple times, and they had done lots of book distribution in that festival. The 3-day festival was a big marathon that had happened in a matter of just 2-3 days. So yeah, to get the blessings of Narottama Das Thakur, yeah, today is a good day to do book distribution.
Nice.
Thank you very much. What's that devotee from Chaitanya Charitamrita who had like gorgeous hair? What's his name? And he was combing his hair. But then when somebody opened the Bhagavatam and started reading the Bhagavatam, the devotee fell into ecstasy. What was the devotee's name?
Like a king? As a king?
Not a king. Not a king.
Pundarik Vidyanidhi?
Yeah. That's
He was a king. Yeah, he was like a prince. Yeah, it's Pundarik Vidyanidhi. Yeah.
So yeah, Anupam Prabhu reminded me of Pundarik Vidyanidhi. His hair looks so gorgeous, but then when you start reciting Srimad Bhagavatam in their presence, they fall into ecstasy. Anupam probably fell on the snow just now, and out of humility, he keeps his camera off. No problem, Anupam Prabhu. We know how advanced you are. You got up.
I'm definitely falling, if that's what you're alluding to.
Jai. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are there any other questions? Any other comments, realizations?
Okay, I think we're ready for the Isaiah, Annabelle, Sage, and Sky. We're ready for the recitation. We're ready for the party. Where are they? There they are. Okay. Unmute. Go for it.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you very much, Annabelle and Isaiah.
Thank you very much for today. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nandini Radhika. Thank you, Narottama.
Thank you.
Thakura. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Narottama Das Thakur ki Jai. Gaurav Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada